Hey guys, it's Sam and Saturday College Football Picks. So it's not Saturday, but games are on Saturday, so we're just going to call it that. We're going to get right into the picks very, very soon. Like very, very soon. And now, so the first game is UCF versus Georgia Tech. And I have UCF winning that game like they always do for like the past 2 years. John Plumlee, their quarterback, is really, really good. So, they have the pieces to how he plays, and there's nothing really to say much about that game. The next game is Florida versus Tennessee. Florida has had a up and down start on the season. They kind of gave up a bunch of points against South Florida, but Tennessee has to win this one. I think they will. Florida's just good in some games and just terrible in other games. So it's very easy to say that way. Clemson versus Wake Forest. If y'all guys didn't see, Wake Forest had an embarrassing win over Liberty. They were down by 3 at one point, but they won by a point or two. And Liberty is not the same team this season. They do not have Malik Willis anymore, so it is a little different. Clemson is just doing a bit better now after they played Georgia Tech, but there's not much either to say on that game. Baylor versus Iowa State. There is way more to say on this game. This is going to be a really hard game. Iowa State has played really well this season. So Baylor has been like Florida, but they're a better team. But I have Baylor pulling it off. Baylor just has a bit more skill on the rushing side, and Baylor's just a better team. Iowa State's, they might even win this game. They do have a really, like Kansas and Houston, a really decent chance of winning this game. Next game, we have Kansas versus Duke. Duke has had a great year as well, but they've played very easy teams. Week 1 was Temple could score some points, but Temple actually didn't. So, very surprising that Duke held up Temple. Their defense was very dominant, but Kansas has just had a better year overall. They beat Houston. They have played harder schools overall, and they're just a better team. It actually will be kind of an interesting game because, Duke can come out of the dark like Georgia Tech, but not as much. Georgia Tech has always been a better team. So the next game is Louisville at USF. Louisville has been, again, like Baylor in Florida, up and down. USF has been close to them. It's just, they ruin it in the middle of the game. The end of the game action is very great, but the middle of the game, they just are not good. Louisville will not win by that much. I don't think Louisville's defense is going to be that good because South Florida can definitely play some football. We did not see that against BYU, but we saw it against Florida. So I think they might win, but they probably won't. I think I got Louisville winning this. Next game, we have Texas at Texas Tech. So y'all guys got all hyped that Texas only lost by a point against Alabama. And Texas was a 5-win team last year. Texas Tech is up and down. There's so much teams that are up and down this season that sometimes it's there's a lot of good games this season. But I have Texas winning this. Texas is just, against UTSA, they did not have a good start, but they pulled away in the end. So, we aren't that worried. I would say Texas Tech has a decent chance of winning it, but I think Texas will definitely win this game. Notre Dame at North Carolina. This is really hard. North Carolina, they've barely won like all their games except the Florida A&M game. So actually, they didn't even do that good that game because Florida A&M had 21 ineligible players, and they allowed 24 points. We don't need that in a game from a really good team, even though they lost their key quarterback. They have Drake May, who's doing really good. But Notre Dame has just been up, down, embarrassing. They only beat California by a touchdown. That was their first one of the season. They were winning against Ohio State. They had a really good start, but they just were terrible in the end. They lost against Marshall, who actually lost to one of the worst teams, Bowling Green, the next week. So that's actually even more embarrassing that they have to hold that on their shoulders. And then Arkansas at Texas A&M. Arkansas had a very embarrassing win over Missouri State. Missouri State is a FCS school, and they were winning most of that game. But then Arkansas pulled away. They won by 11 points. That's just embarrassing. But Texas A&M won. They beat Miami. Good win for them. But Arkansas is going to come back this week. They're going to play hard. And KJ Jefferson's going to have a really good game, like he always does. In the last game here, we have FSU at Boston College. It's a little interesting, but Boston College has not had the best start to the season. They do not really, I don't even know who they lost. I don't really focus on that type of team. FSU, I don't think lost too much players, but Jordan Travis has had a tremendous year, but he's out. So our backup, who came in, threw 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions against Louisville, saved the day for us. And I think they'll have a decent game. I think they'll still win. Florida State's just a really good team. I think they'll pull off a bowl game. It's like 7 wins. But no, the end of the season for them will be rough. It'll be rocky. But they'll win this game. I'm pretty confident they'll go 4-0, have a really good start, be noticed as a team like North Carolina, who hardly wins their games. But, they destroyed Duquesne. Duquesne's Duquesne, so you can't really say anything. That's their only game where they've actually destroyed a team. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. We are not going to talk as much as we did last week. We're going to do that if we want to in separate videos. We kind of did talk about the news for these certain teams. But thank you. Bye.